At the end of 2024, from pretty much nonstop from late September until January 7th, which is into 2025, but regardless, I experienced a lot of different types of loss. And it was all different types of friendships that had different amounts of meaning to me. And most of 2024 I was trying to focus on my career, and I think I lost sight of the relationships in my life and how important they were to me. And I assumed that there were people in my life that would be there for me if I needed them, because I was there for them at different points. And I was very naive about the quality of those relationships, the strength of those friendships. I misunderstood myself and a lot of people. And so it was just a steady stream of losing one person after another. And it had me questioning myself, if I was a good person, if I was a good friend. It genuinely had me wondering what it takes to even be a friend. You know, you kind of feel like you grow up and you figure it out, and at some point you have friends and you don't really question whether or not you learned the right way or if there was a right way. And so now, without a lot of people in my life, and I just have bare bones 3 or 4 really important people nowhere near me, but they're there. I'm rebuilding an entire network of friends, and I want to do it the right way. I want to include people in my life that I know won't hurt me and who I won't, hopefully, hurt. So I'm learning a lot about trauma in that time period from late September even until right now. And I'm discovering along the way, as I'm losing friends, that there are things about me that I thought I had gotten over from my childhood, because the memories of those things didn't bother me anymore. And I think a lot of people fool themselves into thinking this, probably men especially, but we have a memory, it hurt at the time, we contend with that pain, and then we feel like the memory has no power over us, but we don't realize that we created entire systems of behavior around those traumatic events that stay with us throughout our lives and affect our relationships afterward. So as I lose more and more people, and I learn more and more of myself and how so much of how I operate was determined by events so early in my existence that it's insane to think, yet it's true, that I wasn't really in control of my life. I was controlled by a reaction to something, multiple things. And I guess in a way, you kind of think that you got to be doing fine because you find a career, you do find friends, relationships, you're happy. What could be wrong? And then the deeper you dig, the more you realize that we're all really traumatized. And so to some extent, yeah, we're all going to still find success with a lot of things, but maybe we don't have real happiness until we contend with the darkest parts of us. So I'm getting to the point where I'm utterly alone. I'm contending with these dark parts of myself. And I'm just trying to see how much of me is something that I legitimately decided for myself was me, and how much of it was influenced by trauma. And there was so little to how I ran my life. So much of what I avoided in life and what I embraced in life and the people that I surrounded myself with, it was all determined by trauma, and I was completely blind to it. And I just kept going and going and going deeper into this rabbit hole. And then I find out at some point on January 7th in the evening that there was almost nothing to me at all. And for an incredibly agonizing moment, it was like I didn't even exist. And then for several blissful moments, I can't say exactly how long it went on for because it comes and goes even now, I realized that there was nothing to me. And I've heard of ego death before. I've heard of it being a very enlightening experience, usually brought on by some illicit drug of some sort. So now I'm in a journey of life where I see myself separate from an ego. And whoever that ego was, there was so little to him that was free, in the sense that his decision making was based on models of behavior that were not created by deep pain and the desire to avoid more. So I am in therapy, and I'm trying to heal that ego, and then for the first time maybe live freely, like be somebody else, be anything else, be nothing, be everything. It's a lot, and I just want to document it because I think one important thing is to just not lose myself. I don't want to find myself latching on to an ego again and not realizing that I'm getting really deep into it, because it's so easy to get caught up in thoughts instead of living in a moment. You get really drawn in to these aspirational values that you can either rise to the occasion or fail. And past memories of failures will control us, push us into chasing that ego and doing things to support and affirm those thoughts of who we think we are, and it only holds us back. And then even thoughts of the future, things coming that we can do to affirm this ego. And all it does is it prevents us from really being present and enjoying life. It was put to me recently that life is often treated like a movie where we want to get to that happy ending. We're ready to get into the theater, see the beginning, understand where the conflict is, be at the edge of our seat, biting our nails throughout the conflict, and we really just can't wait for that happy ending. But that's not what life is supposed to be. Waiting for some happy ending that's not going to come, because life is more like a song where we should be singing or dancing. And if we just wait until the end, then we missed it. So I think I'm very fortunate to be as young as I am and to be free from an entire system of behavior that was only going to continue to hurt me and people around me. And now I get to, with some intention, go through life kind of liberated. So, yeah, this is just going to be a series of me learning things and seeing the world in a different light, and also attempting to understand people because once you are aware of the separation of the ego from the self, you don't just abandon the ego. They're both two sides of the same coin. You have to learn how to use it. And if there's any value to having an ego, it's that you feel with it. It is how you process emotions. And so if you are aware of it, you can use it as a way to empathize with other people. And in that way, it has a lot of value, but unchecked, it controls your life. So, anyway, I'm going to try to figure out how to do those things and avoid the bad one and stick to the good one. And this is the beginning of that. Oh, and then the really funny thing is that January 7th is National I Can't Take It Anymore Day, which is just really, it's too coincidental. I've been thinking about that a lot.